Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe or destruction is past, referring to World War I. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter, World War II and then World War III, which we are quickly coming to the fulfillment of. You can say we're already in the beginning stages of it. And the main combatants of this third woe is going to be these Western, NATO nations, chiefly the United States of America, and, nations like Russia, along with her allies like, China and Iran. And there will be a draft reinstated. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 in the Apocrypha. I'm going to read verses 33 to 34. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. And as we're reading, there's a women from all age brackets mourning because they don't have any men for them. Why is that? Verse 34, in the wars, the third woe, shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And a lot of these men out here are going to get drafted to go fight and die in World War III. And a lot of the men that don't that escape the draft, as it says, they're going to perish of famine, as well as a lot of other calamities that Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi is going to bring to this world for all the wickedness they've been committing during the times of Jacob's trouble, which we're also quickly coming into. And I opened up the video with these verses to preface a clip from Red Acted's YouTube channel titled, "We Already Are at War with Russia. UK admits as Germany ramps up conscription, ramps up a draft." And as we'll see in this video, it's not just Germany talking about bringing back the draft. You've got a lot of these other Western European nations talking about it as well. And best believe the United States of America is going to have a draft too. I've done videos in the past showing that the U.S. military is in dire straits when it comes to getting new recruits in all branches. They're lowering the health standards. They're lowering the education standards. A lot of standards just to refill those ranks. They're even talking about putting, policies in place to try to entice veterans back to join the military. But best believe, again, that there will be a draft, and these men, a lot of them, are going to be destroyed in the wars, causing these women to be mourning out here. And it's going to get so bad out here to where women are going to start getting drafted as well. They're talking about it as a possibility in Germany and also in the Ukraine, since a lot of their men have died in that war against Russia. Now they're talking about, getting women in their ranks, to refill those empty positions. But, this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Germans, get your teenagers ready for war that they don't want. That means all teenagers, not just the boys, because Germany doesn't believe in gender. That means German teenage girls, biological girls, being drafted into a war with Russia that most Europeans don't support. European politicians support this war. The people of Europe don't. Last year, Germany said they wanted to add about 203,000 troops to their current military by 2031. Now they're saying there is no way to do this without conscription, which is so interesting. Like, oh, We sold you a war. We told you Putin's the bad guy. Why aren't they just lining up in droves?
Yeah, don't you want to go to war with Russia? Remember how that went for Germany the last time?
Good point.
Do you want to bring back an entire? We'll go back to Stalingrad again. Like, well, can you rechange the name back to that? Let's go see how that works out for you. The famine, the disease, the death and destruction.
It's a spring offensive. It's a spring offensive.
Okay.
This
So
time.
it's not.
They're
Yeah.
not going in the winter. They're not going in the winter. That was what we're all going.
Oh, we've learned. The party is in better weather. So
And Russia's now much weaker as an army.
Yes, this is all sarcasm, in case you're not picking up what Clayton's putting down. Okay, so they're saying they need to make plans for a Wehrpflicht. How do you say that word? Wehrpflicht.
What word are you pointing to?
This word, Wehrpflicht. No,
Wehrpflicht?
that one.
Wehrpflicht.
Wehrpflicht.
Wehrpflicht. Yes.
That means mandatory draft or military service. I'm smiling because my German's funny. This is not funny. So the German ministry now has laid out 3 options to reform the Wehrpflicht rules, the rules of conscription. This was in a leaked document from Minister Boris Pistorius, and he's expected to choose one of 3 options and officially present it in June. Now remember that timeline, June, according to Die Welt newspaper. Sorry. One option would be either required military registration for all young people at age 18. Another would require mandatory military registration for males, again, only after 18. And the third option would be making mandatory registration and potential draft compulsory for both men and women at age 18. And they're calling this gender neutral conscription, which stands to reason, right? Because Germany now allows parents to change their child's.
Hey, there you go. Hey, you women aren't going to be safe out here as well. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai isn't going to discriminate in the great judgment he's about to bring onto this earth. But now I'm going to jump to about the 3-minute and 2-second mark.
Like other Western nations, Germany has very low military enrollment, meaning they have not succeeded at selling us this war and why your body should die for it, while their leaders just show a high appetite for war. Like in France this weekend, President Emmanuel Macron said that France is not at war, but he left the matter very open-ended with this if statement at the bottom. It's loosely translated by Twitter, so don't blame me for. If you go too far and threaten the interest of France and the security of Europe, then we exclude nothing. This dude cannot make up his melon. He keeps saying things indicating that France will go to war in Ukraine and then walking them back when his citizens absolutely freak out. And now they're calling for a draft in the UK for young people as well. An army chief says that everyone in the UK needs to think like troops. Okay, what does that mean? You need to think like a soldier because they want you to think you are at war. Look at this graphic. These are the countries that NATO wants to start pulling troops from to reach 90,000 in order to, as the Sun says, prepare for World War III drills or do drills for World War III. Okay, so all those countries there, they want your warm bodies. They want your teenagers. They want your sons and daughters. Lithuania has been waving their hands for a few weeks now saying, we're ready. We got people. We'll go. This is happening because Ukraine has allowed its army to die off. So if you think you're not following them in these footsteps, you are mistaken. And now they've had to implement draconian draft rules, and Ukrainians are trying to flee in order to avoid further conscription. Some dying while they are fleeing. Just last week, these 6 people died trying to swim away. They're so desperate to get away from Ukraine. So young people of Europe, is this your future? Dying or escaping a country that wants to throw you into a war that you do not buy? Well, British MP Andrew Bridgen says, actually, we're already at war with Russia, and they're just not telling you that. And he has a timeline for when we are going to be given this, and it lines up with this German draft deadline that we just learned about. Remember, I said they'd tell us in June? So listen to what he has to say.
Rishi wants out. We are actually at war with Russia now.
We've got.
They haven't told you. Haven't told you.
So say that again.
We're actually at war with Russia now. I met with Andrei Kelin, the Russian ambassador in London, a couple of months ago, and he said that we know that your people are firing those Storm Shadow missiles at us out of Ukraine because you couldn't train the Ukrainians to do it. We know you're doing it, and I mean, I think everybody knows that there are lots of US, UK, French. The French are in there.
I thought it was the Brits were down on the ground and special advisors and training sessions and teaching them and showing them.
Isn't that how?
But they were apparently. That's how we started with the Vietnam War.
Vietnam War, yeah.
Dude, what the frack are we doing poking the bear? That's
what you have during the Vietnam War, a draft. Just like you had a draft during the Second Woe, draft during the First Woe.
really stupid.
They're determined to get us into a war with Russia, and thank God we've got someone in Putin who at least has got some brains.
Now you sound like a Putin lover.
Well, I'm not. I'm not convinced any of them are any good. But at the end of the day, if you look at the facts, since '91, we've moved NATO 1,000 miles nearer to Moscow. They haven't moved nearer to us.
No, they haven't.
Okay. Now, I want to apologize. Normally I catch the F words and try to bleep them, and I forgot. So I apologize for that. I just missed that one. That one's on me. Now, he later says that this war is not wanted by anyone who is you think of that's a leader. This is Agenda 3030 from the World Economic Forum, and that the 0.1% of the richest people...
Which K. Tissue Schwab just stepped down from his position of. A lot of big moves are getting ready to get made.
The world want this, and they don't care that your teenager will be drafted or the young person in your life will be drafted. They don't care at all. Watch.
It's not a race between the blue and the red team to see who crosses the finishing line. This is a baton handover.
Exactly.
On all the big issues, net zero, COVID response, the WHO, the trans agenda.
Who's pushing it then? Who's pushing it? Who's pulling the levers?
It's Agenda 2030. It's the World Economic Forum, the 0.1% of the richest people in the world. And
the globalists?
The globalists, yeah. The people who make... Listen, to make money, all we'd need is next week's newspapers today, wouldn't we? Well, if you own next week's newspapers, you know what's going to happen and what's going to be reported, regardless of what the facts are. And that's the position these.
So we're heading for war.
And also, yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Well, we're actually already in it. They're not going to tell the people.
This is Revelation 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, specifically their elites, the globalists, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, whatever you want to call them, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Agenda 2030, Agenda 2025, the great RESET, fulfilling their NW0, the fourth industrial revolution. And the elites see the writing on the wall. They see that the nation of Israel consisting of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, at least with the elect, are waking up and coming back to their power sincerely, Yahabu Bahashem Yahabushai, and also that the prophets, the men of the Lord, which if the spirit of Yahabu Bahashem Yahabushai is dealing with you, you can see that he's laid his tabernacle in GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS. The prophets are out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles online. And the elites understand the scriptures and know that when the prophets are out and Israel starts calling on the true names of their power, whatever heathen nation that's ruling at the time is going to be taken out of power. And they can see that they're being revealed as the wicked in the scriptures. So now they're speeding up all their different agendas to fulfill that NW0. And war is going to be a major part of it. Look at what got, the United States of America out of the Great Depression, World War II. So these elites want to use World War III to what? Fast track all their plans and try to fulfill their great enterprise. Hey, but this is the thing. Everything is through the will of the Most High. We're in his movie, and it's his will to bring about, this third woe, the draft, these great judgments. But again, hey, this devil is about to come down in great wrath, bringing about great calamities, great death and destruction, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time to fulfill, his agendas.
Probably till July or August, maybe a bit later. And I think Rishi wants out.
But hold on one second. I mean, if we go to war with Russia, we're talking about potentially nuclear war.
I know.
Do they understand what they're playing with?
Well,
here?
we have a nuclear.
We're not playing with fire.
I know, and it goes against all our defence thinking.
But even
we have nuclear weapons, but no one.
Hey, it goes against all our defense thinking, or to the average person, all rational thought. These nations would never go to nuclear war, because that would destroy everything. Hey, again, we're on the will of the Lord, and it's a part of His movie, a part of biblical prophecy for nuclear destruction to take place during that third woe. This is 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 10. And the header reads, a new heaven and a new earth, because that's exactly what World War III and this nuclear destruction is going to usher in, a new or refreshed heaven and earth. Because after the dust settles, Yahushai, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus, during that third woe, and he's going to make his second coming to save his elect. And then Yahushai and the 144,000 of the elect of the nation of Israel are going to come off those chariots and start enslaving the remaining heathen nations, beginning with these elites, so that they can start building up the kingdom of heaven, that new rulership. Because in the scriptures, heaven and hell can be symbolic for a condition. When you're in heaven, you're in rulership, like these Edomites are in right now. Or when you're in hell, you're in captivity, like the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are in. But hey, there's about to be a role reversal. You heathens are about to be in your hell, and the children of Israel are about to be in their heaven, refreshing the earth, putting it back under the laws, statutes, and commandments to where things are going to run properly again. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens, this current age or rulership of the heathens, chiefly of the Edomites, as it says in 2 Ezra chapter 6, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, for which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and all the works that are therein shall be burned up. And what's going to melt the elements with fervent heat and burn up the works in the earth? Thermonuclear missiles being shot to the ends of the earth. And the United States of America is going to be the only nation that's going to be completely wiped off the face of the earth by those nuclear missiles. It's going to become the biblical lake of fire, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards.
Would do that to us, so why would we do it to someone who's got 20 times more 30 times more nuclear weapons than we've got?
And not just that, their air defense capability, the S-500, I mean, it's a million times better than what we've got. We've got nothing compared to that.
We've got nothing that can stop any of their...
What is it? We've got Arrow or something? I mean, that can't do jack shit with their hypersonic missiles.
I've seen a report that we just do not have any defence for the UK against the Russian arsenal.
Because they've got hypersonic missiles.
Yeah.
We've got nothing against that.
Nothing against that.
Hey, that's also in the scriptures that once these nukes get to flying, they're going to reach their targets without any problems. And also these anti-missile defense systems are going to fail as well. But that's it with that clip. I'm going to close it out in Joel chapter 2. I'm going to read verses 1 to 8. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, which is exactly what the men of the Lord are doing by going out to the highways and byways preaching, as well as putting up these video epistles online. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And when we see all this information coming out in the news about talks of World War III and, nukes being used, we know that the day of Yahweh is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, A great people and a strong, speaking of those nuclear missiles, there had not been ever the like, because they came about very recently, beginning with those 2 atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during that second World War II. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Once these nations go to shoot those nuclear missiles, every single one is going to be fired. And then after the dust settles, that's when Yahushua and the 144,000 are going to begin enslaving the heathens. And, Abaratazam of that number, and we're not going to allow you to build weapons of war anymore. A fire devoureth before them, that warhead at the front of the missile, and behind them a flame burneth, that rocket booster at the back. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. Cities, forests, people, animals, life going on as you know it right now. And behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. A wasteland like what you see in these movies and video games. You just had that Fallout TV series that came out, which what led to Fallout? Nuclear destruction. And then you've got that new Mad Max movie that just came out. And what led to, the destruction in Mad Max? Nuclear destruction. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses. And as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, or ash, or soot. These people getting burnt to a crisp by these nuclear missiles. Here's the main point I wanted to get to. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. The spirit of the Most High is going to be on these missiles, guiding them to their targets. And the Most High has also put it on the minds of these different scientists, like these Russian scientists, to create these hypersonic missiles that are able to fly faster than the average, missile, and get past those anti-missile defense systems. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, going straight to their targets without a hitch. And when they fall upon the sword, and that sword is talking about those anti-missile defense systems, they shall not be wounded. They're going to be able to get past those anti-missile defense systems. And also the Spirit of the Lord is going to cause those anti-missile defense systems to fail as well. So that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong, as we can clearly see we are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.